should be a church.
Well, this is a type of church.
This is my church. Absolutely. All right, guys, this is my run out spot, and this is a 2024 ND Miata, ND 3.0, the new one. So we'll see what she's got. We'll ride about, I don't know, maybe to fifth. Again, this is literally as the middle of nowhere as it gets, so that's why we do it. All right, let's see what she's got. That's full throttle. That's shifted 7,500. Shifted 7, and that's 85. I mean, you know, 2 full throttle shifts. And I'm only backing off because we have some traffic, but again, so much fun, right? I mean, yeah, you could eventually get to 100. You're probably going to be in 5th gear at that point, but it's just great. I love that feeling of the car, right? The fact of the matter is you can just have fun, right? And just not worry too much that you're going to jail. Oh, it's so balanced too. It feels great. Very nice car. Welcome back to Driven Productions, everyone. My name is Adam. Welcome back to the HQ. Now today we're talking about one of my all-time favorite cars. That is the Mazda MX-5. Now this is the ND, the 4th generation. This is the 3.0. This has the new limited slip differential, has the 2-liter Sky Active engine. That means direct fuel injection. It's got 181 horsepower and about 150 foot-pounds of torque. Torque comes on at 4,000 RPMs. Let me tell you, on my drive, there's nobody home below 4,000 RPMs. You gotta be banging it off the rev limiter. There is still no active rev match in this car. This particular example is in Soul Red Crystal. Guys, this is the best red paint in the history of red paints. It's really interesting too because they don't finish the rear trunk and the hood here, but otherwise on the exterior of this car, it's glorious. The only color that's really close to this is Tesla's new Ultra Red, which is obviously their most expensive color they've ever made. But look at this car, guys. It's beautiful. They've kind of restyled it a little bit. They got you some new wheels here. I really like this contrast black and silver wheel. They restyled the headlights a little bit on this new generation, kind of retweaked the front. Again, on the 2.0 generation, this is now the 3. Interior-wise, you have a couple of options when it comes to these. There's basically 4 packages you can get. You can kind of get the base package. You can get the hard top, the collapsing hard top. Now this is the collapsing soft top, which we'll definitely demonstrate for you in a second. And then you could also get kind of a club package, which has the BBS wheels, the Recaros. That's like a $4,500 package. It also gives you some upgraded Brembo brakes. Although I gotta be honest, in our point of view drive, love the way this drove. You know, the owner of this car, I'm gonna bring on in just a minute here, you know, he really loves this car. He dailies it. He just got it though. So we're gonna check it all out today. Now this is in contrast because as a reviewer, I actually own a Miata. This is my NB Mazda Speed. This is a 2005. Now they only made 5,400 Mazda Speeds. I bought this car for $12,000 about 3 years ago, and I have since put 16 grand into it to turn into the track car I always wanted. And this car has actually done over 12 track days, and recently at NCM, the Corvette track, you know, NCM, National Corvette Motorsport track, right? I blew the turbo seals, so this bad boy is now getting ready to have a new upgraded T3, T4 turbo. It's going to be getting a whole new 3-inch exhaust. We're going to be retuning it on E85 and hopefully getting it to about 250 to 260 stable, consistent horsepower, which I think will be more than spicy enough for this car. But just so you know, I have a lot of experience with Miatas. I think these are world-class cars, guys. They're 50-50 weight balance. They have an incredible 6-speed manual. They just give you a wonderful driving experience that while they may not be the fastest cars in the world, they are truly second to none when it comes to the driving experience. So we hope you check out and enjoy our content. Go ahead and subscribe, like. If you have any comments about the new 2024, leave them below. We look forward to watching, and let's get into it. Stefan, welcome to the HQ, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Dude, so you just got her. What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah?
It's good to be back at a Miata.
Now, you had one 10 years ago, you told me.
I did.
So that was your first car?
No, my first car was a Mark V Volkswagen R32.
Okay, ooh, R32, look at you.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's a nice first car. So how many years was it until you got into the Miata game?
Oof.
This is show your age here, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm 41 now.
Okay.
I've been driving since I was 12. didn't own my first car until I lived overseas. I've traveled and worked quite a bit. The R32 that I bought was when I lived in Malaysia, when I was working over there.
Nice.
The NA Miata was the first car that I bought when I moved back stateside.
Right. And that was an NB?
NA.
NA.
It was a 94.
Oh, wow. So you had pop-up headlights and everything.
I sure did.
So comparing that to this, I mean, gosh, this is obviously a little bigger than that car, a little bit more power, right? But just first impressions. I mean, tell us, why did you decide to buy this car? I mean, was it spur of the moment, or you just love the new stuff they've done, or?
So it was something that I'd been debating over for a little while. I got a Do You Care ticket about a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half. And in my car journey, I've been progressing in power and speed and capability. The car that I had when I got the ticket was an M2 competition. It was a fantastic car.
With 500 what horsepower?
I think it's 410.
Only 410?
It's nothing crazy,
okay,
but it's very torquey and it's very tail happy.
Sure.
And it was the kind of car that just egged you on to drive faster, drive harder, do more fun things, slide the tail,
yeah,
that sort of thing. So I'm gullible, I guess, and I did a lot of that. And the ticket was sort of a wake-up call for me, where I realized that if I kept driving the way that I was driving, and if I kept chasing power and speed and capability,
right,
I was going to end up in a situation where I was just putting myself and other people in danger on public streets, risking going to jail. And the thing about cars like that is I found they don't like being driven slowly. They're very angry at speed limit speeds, and it's just not fun. So you feel compelled to drive them hard all the time.
They're designed to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the more I thought about it, the more I realized I'd sort of classed myself out of street driving in a way if I wanted to enjoy my cars, which is why I got into cars in the first place. I just love driving.
But the reality is, it was the ticket.
The ticket
you probably still
process.
have it if you didn't get the ticket. And I've been in that exact boat as well. I talked about it in my point of view drive. I mean, it just sucked the fun out of the car, didn't it?
It did. And
constantly like double questioning everything, right?
Yes,
double
definitely.
second guessing
looking over
everything.
your shoulder, just
Constantly.
wondering, did I go over there?
Yep.
But I'm really grateful to that deputy for giving me that ticket, because had he not, I don't know how the story would have ended.
Sure, it could have been worse. And it's, you know, as car guys, right? You know, we all speed on the street. You know, they're making 500 horsepower cars. I mean, what do you do with 500-600 horsepower? It's impossible not to speed. You have to throttle and you go over 40 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on most of your roads, right? If you get, you know, full throttle in third gear, you're going way north of 70 miles an hour on the highway, right? So in the end of the day, this car is actually a car that you don't have to push it to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you're detailing this car.
Yes, sir.
So really, it's kind of perfect for that. You know, we were pushing it today, and I don't think we hit 90.
It's really hard to get it up there.
It really is.
It's the first car that I enjoy driving below the speed limit.
Yeah.
It's happy doing it. I'm happy doing it. I'm having the time of my life.
Yep.
Top down, windows down, going 60, you feel like you're doing 120.
Yeah, literally, and it's the sensation of speed that the Miata gives you that I think is really underrated in the car game. You're not going fast, but you feel like you are.
Yeah.
And it's because you sit really low, and it's just a light, nimble car, and it kind of has a little bit of a flex to it, just enough to have that like sense of speed, right? That some of these new modern cars just don't give you at all. Unless, like you said, you're just going crazy. You know,
Right.
you're going 80, 90, 100. Then they flex a little bit, and then they give you that feedback, right?
Yeah.
This car gives you feedback in second gear. You know, going 30 miles an hour. It's
just
great.
fun.
It's just fun, exactly. Now, I will tell you, as you'll see in the point of view drive, there is nobody home on this engine below 3,000 RPMs, and really below 4,000. I mean, with two guys in the car, you felt the weight. It was pretty funny, I think. I mean, you probably noticed it, right? Your wife's probably much lighter than me, and when you're driving with her, it's not as bad. But yeah, two 200-pound guys, or at least in my case, it definitely noticed the car, like the way it performs. But again, such a good experience. Now, when you were looking at the different models, did you decide you wanted to not get the club package for money reasons, or just they didn't have it in stock, or?
There are just a few features that you don't get with the club that I really wanted for a daily.
Okay.
The number one feature was the adaptive headlights, where they swivel in and out of corners. That was something that I wasn't willing to compromise on.
Interesting.
When I bought the Cayman GTS, it didn't have adaptive headlights, and the second I drove it home and the sun started setting, I turned into a corner and my headlights stayed over there and I was going this way, and I thought to myself, what kind of mistake have I made here? I've upgraded the car, but the headlights are so much worse than everything I've driven in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and if you drive a lot at night, that makes a difference.
Yeah,
especially
so for
in
a
Tennessee
daily,
with deer and everything else, you know.
So between that and just very simple things, automatic headlights, automatic wipers, just things that are very convenient to have on a daily basis.
That doesn't club with the club package.
You don't have those on the club.
Really?
It's very strange.
So can you not add the Recaros, the BBSs, and the Brembos to this package?
Strangely, in the States, you cannot add those to the GT.
Well, that sucks.
It's very weird.
So you can't get your hardtop either and get the club package?
So if you go for an RF club, it automatically comes with the Brembo package, I believe.
Okay.
I think it's just part of it.
Yeah.
But to get
But then you don't get the headlights, is what you're saying.
Correct.
That's really weird. I didn't know that. Hopefully you guys learned something there. That kind of stinks.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a strange compromise. Like in Australia, you can get the BBS Brembo kit on the top trim GT spec, but for some reason in North America, they separated the club and the GT. I don't really understand why.
Right. How was your buying experience with Mazda?
Nelson Mazda was absolutely amazing.
Okay.
The least stressful and friendliest car buying experience I've ever had. No haggling. I only had to deal with one person. I would recommend them to everybody.
There you go. Financing, cash, I assume you financed,
I financed
right?
a portion of it through Mazda Finance.
I saw they were doing 2.9% right now.
Yes,
for
with a
36
months, I think.
So that's pretty good.
Fantastic deal.
Yeah, I mean 2.9 right now. I mean that's
hard to
5%
get.
better than you get anywhere else. This thing was what, 35 grand as it sits?
Yep, that's right.
So they've definitely raised in inflation pricing, right?
A little bit,
you
yeah.
used to be able to get into your NB Miata, NA Miata, especially used for maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 grand. That's kind of out the window now. It's really 4 to 10 to 15. I was looking
clean
at
one, yeah.
I was looking at 23s and 20s even, and they were 18 to 25 grand still. So
Yep.
they hold their value pretty well. I think this car, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to lose 5 or 10 if you put 20, 30,000 miles on, but it's not going to fall off a cliff.
And I'll enjoy every dollar.
And you'll enjoy every dollar of it. And you know, I was reading that it requires premium fuel.
Yes.
It doesn't require it, but it recommends it.
Yeah,
So
it'll retard timing.
Yeah.
You'll probably get a little bit of knock if you don't put premium.
I thought that was really interesting they did that.
Yeah, I guess
for,
it's just
for a car like this.
because it's a higher compression engine. So I
Yeah.
think that's why they did it.
Interesting. You know, again, I mean, mine obviously being the turbo always required it. So, but I would think that at least, guys, even if you have to run premium gas, you are able to get 30 miles a gallon, I'd say, pretty
About there.
consistently.
Yeah, I get between 300 and 320-ish miles per tank right now.
And how big's
it's
the
still
tank?
breaking in 11.9 gallons, I think.
Okay.
Little bitty guy.
So you're actually under 30, but you know, you're. I think city driving's what, 25, 26?
26, I think.
And then highway's 35, so.
It's going to take a while
you're
for the
driving
engine
car,
to
though, so
fully
you're having
break
fun.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to drive the car, you're going to get close to 26, right? But I think you could take some long highway stretches, baby it a little bit in traffic, and arguably guys get over 30 miles a gallon.
I mean, either way, it's better than the M2 Comp was. So.
Oh, you
I'll
were
take
getting
that.
what, 20 at best?
Maybe 250 miles per tank, and that's about a 12.9.
Which
gallon
M2
tank.
Comp did you have? The new one or the older one?
The previous one.
Okay, the previous gen, the much better looking generation.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the M3's grown on me, but I still don't like the look of the M2.
I'm not a fan of pretty much any of the modern BMWs.
Yeah, the 7 Series is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I saw one the other day. It looked like a
don't understand
futuristic car gone wrong. It just doesn't have any elegant lines anymore.
It's not for me.
Having said that, this is a beautiful car.
I can't believe it's a 10-year-old design.
It looks great. And this paint, guys, oh my God. This is the nicest red color I've ever seen,
Thank you.
period. I like it so much I almost want to wrap the Honda in it now instead of going champion white, because it looks so good. If I could find this as a wrap,
It's hard to say no to a champion white Honda, though.
I know, with the Type R badging.
Yes.
But that looks so good, man. Like, it looks so good for a little two-door roadster, which is what that is.
I'm normally not a red guy, but I couldn't not get this color.
Thank you for getting it. It is the nicest red in the game.
It's beautiful.
And it's been known to be the nicest red. Everybody says Mazda red, right? That's like the color. But when you actually see it, man, it really hits.
It does.
It's got a beautiful flake. And the way it changes light from dark to light as the sun hits it, I've never seen a car do that. Like, you know, at least a stock paint color, you know, really hits. Now, why they didn't finish it here and in the trunk, I'm not really sure about that. So
I kind of like it. It's interesting.
well, let's take a look at the interior, guys, and I'll jump off and we'll get more on point of view. Okay? Firstly, guys, I want to start off by showing the roof demonstration, because I think this is an important thing. Now, this is actually something you can do yourself in the car. Go for it. Look at this. Look at this. Unreal. That's that easy? Okay. Wow.
That's it.
That's way easier than mine.
It's so much fun.
That's so much easier than that thing. Oh my God. That thing's heavy. It's got the glass insert. So you pull that. Let me show you. Okay.
Do you want me to pull it back?
Yeah, one more time. So you pull that, grab there. Okay, got it. Wow. Headroom looks like, you know, you're 5'9", so you still got 3 inches. I would say, me being 6 feet tall, I don't think I'd be able to wear a helmet in this car with the top up. So
We tried.
yeah, I mean, I could fit,
Yeah.
but I don't. I mean, I'd probably be hitting the top.
Probably.
And you can see with the top up, it feels a little more claustrophobic, doesn't it? It definitely does.
It's definitely cocooning.
Yeah. Did it come with these mats too?
These are an upgrade.
Okay.
$100.
$100. All right. So I did want to point out, guys, look at how the red transitions on both sides, even here. It's a really cool feature of this car, but not here, interestingly enough, like the Porsche does when you get that option. This does have that soft plastic feeling. This feels leather though, or something feels nice. Got a nice stitch line in here. Got your heated seats here. You have your USB-C right here. You have, is it dual climate control?
It's not.
Okay, single climate control. Looks like, what is this? Home on the 8.8-inch screen. This is the new screen, by the way, guys. Again, they still kept this style. Mine has this style even going back to 2005. It's just one of the signatures of Miata. Steering wheel felt great on the POV Drive, guys. And you do have some nice controls. There's your cruise control. This one did not have the Dystonic cruise, though. Is that right? As far as compartment space, this is actually the 2 cup holders here. And you said you can move it. Where? How do you do that?
So you just pop this one out.
Okay.
And then you do some fiddly stuff to plug it in there, and there you go.
Oh, where? Whoa, you did that quick.
Sorry.
Right here? Okay.
Yeah, there's a little hole
Oh,
right
that's
there
what
that
that's
it plugs
for.
into.
Well, that's cool. So you actually could have more than 2 cup holders then. You can buy an extra one.
Yeah, you could.
That's really interesting. So now, I mean, again, yeah, I would, yeah, because otherwise you're here.
Yeah.
That actually helps.
And you got a little glove box here.
Yep, little glove box.
This shelf is an addition, but it makes it a little more usable. It goes pretty deep.
Well, it's quite nice. Look at that. Yeah, you can actually get quite a few things in there.
And then you've got
That's not as bad as people have been talking about.
No. And then behind the seats, you have 2 similarly sized cubbies, just tucked
No
behind
kidding.
the seats. Yeah.
I'll show you that in a second. And then this is just enough space for nothing.
Pretty
And
much.
geez.
Charging cable, some hand sanitizer.
Wow, that is really small there. And then otherwise, and then do you put your phone here typically?
I do not. I just stick it on the charger here.
Okay. Although your phone will slot in there.
It
And
will
what is
slide in,
this
but it
supposed to
slides
be?
out. So
What-
that's the airbag warning for the passenger seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, not that many frills, but nice. Like it feels pretty high quality, punched up. Is this your wind diffuser?
Yeah, exactly.
I assume that's standard, right?
A lot of people switch it out for a clear one, but I'm short enough where I can't really see it in
Yep.
my rearview mirror, so it doesn't bother me.
Overall, though, it feels nice, guys. And I don't know if you noticed this in any of the other reviews. They kind of give you this like carbon fiber looking plastic, but I think it looks really good. I actually thought it was carbon fiber. And the one thing that Stefan told me is he was scratching the, what was it exactly?
The window switches, it's
Yeah.
hard to see in this light, but if you were to come around,
Yeah, I'll come around, guys. I wanted to just show him this. Okay, just pops right off, easy.
it goes back pretty far for
Look at
some
that.
reason.
That's nice.
It's a good sized hole.
Yeah, and then pop the trunk too while we're talking about storage. So, you know, one of the criticisms, and by the way, guys, if you didn't know, the button is actually right here on the bottom right. I think you can have a weekend trip with this, yes. Are you gonna be able to take 2-week trip? No. But I think you have, as long as you pack light, between what you got on the inside there with those 3 compartments and then this, yeah, I think you can make it.
Use
Now-
soft bags, play a little Tetris.
Yeah, exactly. Little Tetris. All right, so you were saying the one negative that you had on these buttons, and you can actually see them a little bit, is they're scratching really easily, and this car doesn't even have 600 miles on it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So if your wife drives the car, she definitely scratches it, I'm sure, with those nice nails, right?
Yeah. I don't know how that's happened. It doesn't bother me, but if you're somebody who's a little OCD, that could bother you.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I mean, they're probably inexpensive enough just to replace out.
Probably.
Right. And the classic, this right here, for all of our guys who have upgraded those, we all know what these are and they've maintained that. Well, I will tell you though, it's nice. It's now you can have gotten the tan interior, is that right? And I think those are the only two options.
I believe
black
so.
and tan.
Mine was already on order at the dealership, so I just went with what they went with. But I believe that there's a tan interior option.
Do you know what the most popular color for Miatas are?
I do not.
I'd be interested to know how many people order this red because it's so nice.
I
can tell you I see them every once in a while, but not that often.
I haven't seen one on the road yet since I've gotten this one. They have so many grays, so I imagine
yes,
gray is probably the most common.
As far as the engine, guys, if you want to check it out, I mean, again, it's a 2-liter engine, 16 valves, 4 valves per cylinder, 180 horsepower, 150 foot-pounds of torque. She weighs 2,345 pounds, so, you know, nice amount of power, but again, not fast. You know, I'm actually surprised they haven't gone hybrid and or turbo. I really thought that this car could benefit from going back to a little, you know, I mean, that car stock had 175 horsepower, I think.
Oh, man.
So just spicy enough, right? And this car, but it's also a little bit smaller and lighter, right? I think that was about 100 pounds lighter. So this car, if it had, let's say 220, just a little baby turbo on it, right?
It'd be
You've that
interesting.
extra 40 horsepower. So if you do put money into it, I might consider doing that. Maybe going on eBay so you can find somebody who had a kit, took it off when they sold the car.
Well, honestly, I'm happy with the low power.
Yeah, well, it'll keep you out of trouble.
Keeps me out of trouble. I'm having fun. I'll probably do an exhaust just so that I can hear it when I'm cruising with the top down. But other than that, I love it the way it is.
Wheels, there are 205 17 wheels on the front and the back, so they're exactly the same. These are running Bridgestone Potenza tires. They're 280 tread wear, which I thought was kind of interesting. So probably going to get quite a bit of, you know, I'd say at least 15, 20,000 miles depending on how you drive with these because it's such a light car. Otherwise, a 280 tire probably not going to last you very long. But hopefully you find that interesting. And then last little details here on the back. I mean, again, it's got the Sky Active G, but overall you got the 2 tailpipes here, but not that many frills necessarily on the back. You do have the, I assume that's for your satellite radio.
I would imagine. I found it interesting that they've got the whip antenna and the shark fin.
Yeah, I would say keep the shark fin and lose this, but
a lot of people go stubby on the antenna. I kind of like the whip. It makes it look like a little RC car.
It does. I think it's a good looking car. I mean, I really like it. I think it's a good looking piece of kit, and this color especially, heck yeah. I just dig it. What can I say? All right, guys, we're in the Miata MX-5. I've never driven this car before, not once, so you're seeing first drive impressions. Starts up easy, got the push start button right here. I gotta say, I've got the seat pretty far back. Let me just move this down a little bit and up. That feels pretty nice. All right, so reverse is down.
Yes, sir.
There we go, you got a reverse cam as well. Parking brake. Yeah, that's nice. Easy throttle. Ooh, immediate pickup on the clutch, huh? Very nice, easy to drive. Jeez. Oh my gosh, that is the easiest reverse, I think, in the history of manual reverses. Wow. Guys, if you can't drive this car smooth, you just don't know how to drive a manual. Nice, easy. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm already in love. I haven't even gotten out a second. Jeez, that is amazing. So easy. Quiet. You get quite a bit of wind, don't you? I'm here with Stefan, guys. He's on mic'd up with me.
Hey, guys.
So he can give his thoughts and a little bit of color. But let's go ahead and put up the windows just for the POV until we get out here. Wow, you do get a lot of airflow with the windows down. Interesting. Car feels really light just from hello. Steering is just well weighted. There isn't any modes in this car, is there?
Nope.
So
Except
it's
for
always like this.
There's track ESC, but that's it.
Okay, so you can turn traction control off, but as far as the feeling of the steering, it is pretty much
It is what
set.
it is.
Nice. Yeah, she likes to rev, you know, she free revs very easily. Red lines is 7,500 RPMs. Max torque is actually at 4,000, so that's interesting.
Oh, interesting. We were in third. Okay. Well, it's the first time I've stalled out a manual car in probably this entire season, so there we go. Figures I'd do it on the easiest manual to drive. You know why? It's because you don't even know you're in third until the car stalled. It's just that easy and forgiving of a clutch, right?
And the gearing's very short.
And the gearing's short, exactly. So I'm like, oh, I'm in third until it did. I'll make sure I keep that clip, guys. I think it's important to show that, right? I mean, again, finding first and finding third isn't hard. It's just me just getting used to it from a first impression. What is this saying off? Is this traction control off?
It's the lane departure warning.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
No.
That's just annoying.
It vibrates the steering wheel and it's very
Oh,
confusing.
does it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not a fan.
So you've got 692 miles on it. So
Yes,
what
sir.
was your break-in period?
600.
600. It's an interesting break-in period, right? These new Porsches are like 1,000, 1,500. I'm like, come on, that's insane. That long? That stinks. Gotta go that long before I can enjoy my car at 9,000?
Didn't take long on this one because we couldn't stop driving it.
I don't blame you. This is just addicting. Ah, so light. Steering is perfectly sized too, guys. I love it. It's not too fat, it's not too thin. Absolutely perfect. Clutch release is pretty immediate. I think if you don't know how to drive, you're definitely going to get a rude awakening in this car, but it is easy if you do. It feels nice. Maybe one of the best manuals in the game. Interesting. I slipped off of it right there. Yeah, easy to row. Interesting though, we're in fifth gear now. We're still revving almost 3,000 RPM. So like Stefan, right? Or Stefan.
Thank you.
Like Stefan was saying, it is really, you know, high geared. I mean, shoot, I bet you when you're at what, 75, you're probably revving over 3.
That's correct.
So I don't know how they're getting mid-30s fuel economy with that. That's really surprising.
It's just a really efficient little engine.
It really is. Direct fuel injection. Well, guys, we couldn't have a nicer day to drive a Miata. I mean, wow, it's so pretty. Yeah, first impression, guys, you're going to love this car as far as the driving. It's very easy to shift. The brakes are nice and bitey and progressive. The steering wheel is perfectly weighted. It's got just a really nice feeling in your hands. The AC is working great. You do get a little wind buffeting, but I don't think it's going to drive you crazy. You can absolutely drive this on a nice long, you know, open road, open down, you know, top down trip. Have no problems. Overall, yeah. I mean, this is driving nirvana. I mean, I said that when I, you know, did my MX-5 Mazda Speed NB review. I fell in love with the car from hello. I fell in love with the shifter. I gotta say, I still prefer that shifter a little bit more than this, mostly because it has the upgraded bushings and it just feels a little more race car, a little more weighted. But this is just daily drivable. I mean, this is so easy. Now, there is no rev match, so, you know, if you really want to go for it on a track, you are probably going to have to go ahead and learn how to heel toe a little bit. I struggle with heel towing these Miatas. I have pretty large feet, I guess, and then these are pretty small, tight pedals. Some people say that's what you need to heel toe. Maybe I just suck at it, but I don't know. It's something I've definitely been working on. It's, you know, when I go to the track, it's the number one thing I'm actually practicing. I mean, gosh, it doesn't feel fast, but it feels fun and easy, and, you know, it gives you a lot of confidence, and that's what's going to make you drive and go fast. It's just one of those rare cars that really says, okay, you can keep going a little bit more. But I mean, that's full throttle. I mean, you know, you really got to be revving around. I mean, that's 4,000 RPMs. If you want to exploit the car, you're going to have to be right at the top of the rev band to have some fun.
And it feels different when you're up there, too. It wakes up a lot.
We'll definitely go ahead and push the car a little bit. We're about to be at our destination here to shoot some fun photos and drone shots. So we'll pick the clip up here in a little bit. Have a little more spirit of a drive now, going down some of my favorite back roads. Again, still getting a feel for. Definitely got to have these windows up if you are above 40 miles an hour, if you want to have some clean audio doing a review, that's for sure. Just gets you smiling. It gets you in a good mood. It's why we like to drive. It's not super fast, it's not super loud, it doesn't really excel at anything necessarily, but it's just good at everything and just giving you that Sunday driving enjoyment. I mean, this is the perfect car to take you and your wife out and just have fun. I mean, it's got power, but it's not throw you back in your seat. Yeah. I mean, that's 70, but it takes so long to get there. You know, it's funny because the owner, you know, we were just talking about it, and I had the exact same experience. When I was in my Camaro ZL11LE, I was getting to the point where I was just excessively driving the car on the street because I could and I knew how to do it and I felt really confident in it. The reality is, once I got caught doing that, the joy of the car completely left me. I mean, completely. I literally didn't even want to drive the damn thing because I felt like I was on their radar. And while I talked myself out of actually the ticket, it just zapped the entire soul of the car for me. And I sold it in 2 weeks to get the Aston Martin Vanquish, which is a whole different experience, right? I didn't feel like I had to drive that fast. You know, it's more of a GT car. With this car, like, this is a car that you really can just like that's third, guys. Full throttle, right? They were having fun, but we're not going crazy, right? We're not going to jail. That's not even 80, you know? I mean, some of these cars I review, you do that, you're doing 130 miles an hour topping third or fourth. It's just crazy performance. And yeah, that's fun, but shoot, I mean, you know, you pass a Karen doing 120 miles an hour, like, she's calling the cops, right? And so, and everybody can hear you doing it. Like, this thing is quiet. So, I mean, look, coming out of this turn, full throttle, that's fun, right? Like, you can really push the car. Like, I've literally had my foot into the floor the whole time there. Never felt uncontrollable. Never felt like we were going to lose it. Now, can you feel the limited slip? You know, I haven't reviewed too many of the older cars, so it's hard for me to say, but you did, right?
I did. I definitely did.
What are your thoughts on that?
So I drove a 23 back-to-back with a 24, and there was one uphill left-hand bank turn that as I was braking into the corner, the back kicked out on the 23 for no reason whatsoever. I drive that corner fairly frequently. I've never experienced that in another car. And then I did the same corner, pretty much the same entry speed in the 24, none of that whatsoever.
There you go. So he tells you for the $3,000 price bump between the 23 and the 24, the ND3, right? Then it's worth it.
I think so.
Well, I gotta say, from a first impression of driving it, whether it has the LSD or not, you're really not gonna feel it on the street doing what we're doing. This is pretty much very easy. But if you take it to the track, I guarantee you'll be able to feel the difference. Of that, I'm confident of. And you know, this is a really bumpy road, and I gotta say, it's soaking it up really well. It's a comfortable car, guys. It really is. You don't have to. Now, maybe with the BBSs, you know, maybe with the upgraded Recaras and everything that you can get, it's probably not quite as soft, but I still think the suspension's the same from what I've read. So, you know, if you want to go with a set of Oilins or something like that, or Olins, whatever, however you pronounce it, that might be the upgrade if you're looking to take it to the track, because I do think it's on the soft side. You know, for what Stefan does, he's daily driving the car. It's perfect, right? It's like, I mean, I wouldn't want it to be much more sporty than this. Now, having said that, if I take to the track, it's going to be very boaty, right? I think you are gonna notice that. What is this guy doing?
Oh, he's got a flat.
Oh, bummer, dude.
Yeah, I like that the suspension's a little softer and that it just teaches you more about what the car does under weight transfer.
Yep.
Now, if I were to try and set lap times, it would need to be stiffer.
And that was 7,500, right?
Yes, sir.
Still very compliant all the way at the top of the rev band. Yeah, you can hear the engine is stressing right now. You can smell it. It's from two guys having a little fun. Overall, though, easy to drive. Easy to drive fast. What are you doing, dude? I mean, that's full throttle, though, at 3,500. Like, if you want to extract the power, you absolutely have to be on the fuel, and you have to be at the top of the rev band. There's nobody home below 3. That is absolutely hysterical. So now that I let the speed shave off a little bit just to take it back to reality, it's like, okay, it's not fun anymore, right? So yes, 2 guys in the car, you're gonna have to be just really going for it, guys. Absolutely downshifting. You know, you don't want to be less than 4,000. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you want to have some fun, but again, you don't need to be at the top. These 205 tires, yeah, you know, it's stretching the grip of the tire. That's for sure. But yeah, it feels great. It's everything you want out of a fun 2-door roadster, and nothing you don't. It's so balanced right there. Yeah, I mean, I would just say recommend leaving it right around 5 the whole time. Just letting it eat.
And you'll still probably get around 30 miles to the gallon.
I don't know about that.
It's surprising.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've been very impressed.
Listen, that's so nice. You know, the fun part is when you start modifying these cars, it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. When it's like this and just stock, it's just great. I mean, you really have a hard time beating, because Miata, you know, the engineers, like, they've worked so hard on the car, right? And just dialing it in and making sure that it's just absolutely perfect. At the end of the day, like, that's what makes the car so balanced. That's what makes it so easy to drive. As soon as you start messing with that DNA, you know, like I said, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's from somebody with a lot of experience modifying Miatas, because I definitely have spent a lot of time with mine. It's very easy to drive. I mean, this is literally my first experience. You know, it always takes a little bit of time to get used to the clutch release, right? And just how the car performs. I mean, obviously the more you drive it, the better you're gonna get. You kind of know the characteristics of where the clutch likes it. But from a very first impression, it's easy to, I think, figure it out. Having said that, I did stall it once, and having said that, I think I probably misshift a little bit once or twice. So, not, you know, it still requires your engagement. It doesn't shift for you. It doesn't have rev match, so you gotta kind of figure that one out. Look at, there's nobody home. That's full throttle, guys. Coming up this hill, you really gotta be in it. All right, that's when she starts to get a little bit of power, right there around 4, which is where the max torque is 4,000 RPM. It's interesting, the engine doesn't really change note, does it?
Nope.
Between 3 and 5. It's not like VTEC or anything like that kicks in.
No, there's nothing like that. There's a bit of a tone change between 7 and 7.5. That last 300 is very sweet.
Interesting.
But it's also hard to hear over the wind.
Yeah, I about to say I haven't really noticed it. We only did it once, but no negatives from the driving perspective. Yeah, I could have more power. Yeah, I could sound a little bit better. Yeah, it might be nice if they gave you sport match or rev match, right? That would be a nice button to engage if you want it, and I'm sure I would be using it right now because it's a cheat code and it's just, you know, easier on the transmission. But at the end of the day, it's great. Any last thoughts that you might have?
I just love how simple it is. The interior is modern. I have almost every feature that I had on the M2 competition that I traded in on this car.
Right.
But it feels like I'm driving my NA, my 94, and that's what I love about it.
Well, guys, this is my conclusion of this Soul Red Crystal ND Miata 3.0 generation now. Look, not the fastest car in the world. It's not going to get you noticed. It's not an ego play, right? It's not the newest, latest Porsche or Ferrari or anything like that, right? But for $35,000, okay, this is a lot of awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time all the time. And those other cars I just mentioned really aren't that way, okay? And it takes one to know one. Like, trust me, the Aston Martin and all of these great cars that I get to review every single week, right? All of these high horsepower cars, like, I almost feel bad driving them on the street because you're going so insanely fast. And it's not that we're trying to endanger our lives or the lives of other people. It's just they're designed to do that. And so it's hard to just go 45 miles an hour. You know, it's hard to just do 70 miles an hour. Whereas this car, it's not the case. you really could full throttle shift coming out of turns, full gas engagement all the way to the floor, right? And still be at the speed limit or close to it, right? And nobody can judge you for that. And so it's just a fun, great driving experience. Now with the new 8.8-inch screen, you got Apple CarPlay, you got a heated seat in this car, you got adaptive headlights, or active headlights, right? Would I personally go for the club package with the hardtop? I would. I know that's now a $40,000 Miata, and that is crazy, right? I mean, come on, $40,000. But I think I'd wait a couple of years, see if they'd appreciate just a little bit, maybe 5 or 10 grand off, and then I would definitely pick one up with like 15 or 20,000 miles. I'll probably do that, honestly. I like this car so much, I enjoyed the driving experience so much that I would probably, buy a hardtop convertible club package and maybe turn that into my next generation track car. Anyway, overall, I love it. I give you my recommendation to buy it. I hope you learned something today about the different cubby holes and where you can move the cup holders and something from our POV Drive. But overall, I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate Stefan coming out today with the car and allowing me to review it, and just spend a couple of great hours on a beautiful spring day with him. If you did enjoy the content, go below, okay? Leave a comment. If you thought I did an okay job, say so. If you thought I did a terrible job or I missed something, hey, go ahead and add that to the community. We want to grow together. We want to learn. I know there's already a lot of content out there, but I hope you enjoyed hearing from Stefan as an owner. I know I always do in my reviews that I'd like to check out. That's it for me, guys. I appreciate you watching, and subscribe for more, and we will catch you on the next one. Talk to you later.